This is going to be an interesting fight, not simply because Nate Landwehr always brings violence, right? But because David Onama is a little bit of a sharpshooter, you know what I mean? He's a man who, he can do it in a plethora of ways. He can knock you out, he could submit you, he could do whatever. But look at Nate Landwehr. You remember when he got that anaconda choke off of Ludovic Klein in his last fight? That came out of nowhere. And you see what Ludovic Klein is doing now. He's finally living up to the potential that we had saw in him the whole time. But let's talk about this, man. Nate Landwehr, he gets the co-main event. I think that this is a situation where he is massively discounted here because David Onama is so good, but I do think that this is another one of those, should the odds really be this slanted? Minus 290 for Onama, plus 245 for Landwehr. Do you agree with those odds there, AJ?
No, not at all, Derek. I agree. This one should be a little bit, not necessarily a pick 'em, not a minus 150, but somewhere close around there, minus 175, whatever the case is, man. I think this one, a lot of people are doubting Nate Landwehr in this fight, man, especially because he seems like a reckless wild man, but he's actually very, very technical. And like you said, finally living up to the potential that we've seen him have before, man. This is going to be a very fun fight. Even though Nate is going to be the smaller guy going in there, man, David Onama is still very, very strong, but Nate as well has that chaos factor in him, man. He can get in on the inside and get some things working, whether it's in the clinch, whether it's the ground game going. He has a lot of different ways in which he can get this fight done. I think it should be a little bit closer. What about you?
I definitely think it should be closer, especially because in David Onama's last fight against Garrett Armfield, he was struggling on the feet a little bit, so he had to mix it up and he had to take him down. Nate Landwehr can make you struggle on the feet, my man. He's going to walk you down. He's going to do some nasty things to you. And if you take him down, you remember when he fought Darren Elkins and he beat Darren Elkins a couple fights ago, right? That might not be a guy that you want to take down. My question here is that for Nate Landwehr, he's very up and down. And what I mean by that is that like he can rise to the levels of competition, but he can also just underperform sometimes where we're like, but I thought you were this guy, and then now you came out and it looked like you weren't ready. Like, for an example, the Julian Erosa fight, where he just kind of got just like flatlined, like quick, jumping knee, boom, done. It was just like, oh, what happened? So do you think David Onama's best approach here is to do the inevitable, pull the Juliana Pena on Amanda Nunes, just bully the bully, like be like, oh, you think you're this guy who's going to just come walk me? No, I'm going to do that to you. Is that a viable path to victory here? Do you think Onama stays within himself, remains technical, and just kind of kickboxes with him and tries to pick him apart, mixing a little grappling?
I think he stays technical. I think it's his best bet right here. Stay technical because Nate's going to come out fast. He's very powerful and he's always looking for a finish. And the bad part, or if you want to fight fire versus fire on this one, the bad part about that is Nate is composed in the chaos. It looks like it's wild, but he's thinking, man, he's in there. He's having fun in the chaos. So I think if David Onama takes the approach of I'm just gonna pick my shots, make you annoyed, keep you a distance, kickbox this one, keep this one technical, make you frustrated. Then I go in, then I start really working my game. I think that's a better route for David Onama. What about you, Derek? Is this a bully in the bully situation, or are you seeing what I'm seeing?
I'd like to see him bully the bully. I'm not going to lie to you. I think that'd be an interesting game plan, but I also think he can definitely just win the fight based off of being technical, frustrating Landwehr. If this fight goes late round 3, who has the edge?
Ooh, late round 3. Man, it's weird. It's rough too because I feel like David Onama can get out grappled. If it depends on if it's standing or if it's wrestling. I'm gonna say Nate Landwehr, man. I think he might have the cardio advantage. What about you?
I think Landwehr is going to be in this fight the whole entire time. That's what makes him dangerous. Look at these props, man. They're not giving him any love here. Plus 400 for the TKO, plus 550 for the decision, plus 1,200 for the decision. They're giving him no love. I just think that he's going to be in this fight the whole entire time. David Onama, plus 175 for the TKO. Yes, Landwehr, he did get knocked out by Erosa and by Herbert Burns in his last 5, but I don't think that makes him a knockout-prone fighter. He's only been knocked out literally twice in his career. Those are the only 2 times. So I don't really see the knockout coming. I think Onama can win the decision here. Just because, bro, Nate Landwehr, former M1 champion, bro. Like, let's give the man a little respect right here. I just don't look at Nate Landwehr as some punching bag coming in here. I think that he's going to be a tough test for David Onama. Even though Onama is such a stud, so good, and he's been able to pull off miraculous feats. Look, 4 finishes in his last 5 fights. I think Nate Landwehr is going to make it tough, and he's going to use his veteranship to maybe lose a decision because I'm picking Onama, so I think Onama does get a decision victory here. But if Onama does manage to pull off some miraculous finish, what do you see? Do you see a submission or do you see a knockout?
Ooh, I see a knockout, if anything, man. Those long combos can get you in trouble, especially up against a cage when he's able to pick you apart and you're not able to, escape one way or the other. You're not able to slide out. That's really where I like David Onama the most, is in those long combos, because he's got power in both hands. And when you think, the power is in the right, you got to worry that left hook comes across and it puts you to sleep, especially too, since Onama can get out grappled. He has a tendency to kind of get careless in those long takedowns and then get taken down, or long combos and then get taken down. Excuse me. He has really big knees too, knees up the middle. So if Nate's going to be shooting for stuff, he's got to watch those knees. So if anything, if there's a finish, I think it's a TKO. What about you?
You know what, man? Yeah, no, I agree with you. I absolutely agree with you. Submission, I think it's going to be tough, man. Both of them are pretty well versed in the submission game, but I just had a revelation right now. My revelation is that I do think that both of these fight styles, Landwehr is going to come out in a way where Onama's going to have to fight. I don't think that he's going to allow Onama to just sit there and be technical. He's going to have to fight. He's going to turn it into a scrap. And given that nature, even though they're at 145 pounds, if they scrap, if they get together and they just clash, it's hard. It's kind of hard for me to see it going the distance now that I think about it. You know what I mean? Like, if they really sit down on their shots and start just saying back and forth who wants it more, I'm going to go Onama here. It's going to be tough just because I think Landwehr has more openings in his defense, right? More holes in the defense. And I'm gonna go with that plus 175 TKO prop right there. But I do think it's foolish not to at least hedge a little bit on Nate Landwehr, excuse me. Bro, plus 400 for the TKO. Throw $2 on there. I don't care what you throw on there. Throw literally $2, throw $5. You're gonna get like $20 in return with that plus 400 prop right there. But I'll take that David Onama TKO prop. Over and under is 1.5 rounds here, AJ. So I'm gonna go over. I think it's gonna be a later TKO right here. What do you think?
Over and under is 1.5. Even they're seeing the finish too for the odds makers. Yeah. I see what you're saying too. They sit down on the shots. It's a barn burner. I can see somebody going to sleep. Ooh, I'm gonna pick the decision though. I'm gonna go contrarian. I'm gonna stick with what I was thinking first. I'm going David Onama by decision.
Okay, I mean, that's fair right there. Like I said, that's more of along the lines of like logically how it plays out in my mind. But I've come to find recently, man, I've been watching a bunch of these fights recently. All the Contender Series, PFLs, all that. I was like, conventional logic doesn't work. A lot of it is when two big boys get in the cage, listen, man, all bets go out the window right there. So